my question is, right now we're looking into more of a B2C break sort of beachhead strategy. Now, do you have any recommendations in good material or content to look into for strategies on B2C?
Yeah. So first of all, I think that a lot of Steve's ideas can be applied to B2C, but okay, I'm just going to kind of meet you where you live here, right? And kind of assume that there's maybe other things you can look at too. But we can come back to Steve if we have time. It depends. To me, there's two kinds of consumer businesses that I've seen win. There's more than two, but there's two that have clearly worked. One is network effects. And if you're interested in network effects, I'd look at anything I can from Anu Hariharan, which ironically is the most recent podcast that we had. So if it's a network effects consumer idea, the opportunity is to realize that networks could be designed just like products can be designed. And just like there are best practices in designing a product, there are best practices in designing a network. But it's funny how few people really know. Like I get pitched a lot by somebody who says, I have a network effect. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay. Let me understand that exactly why that is. And I'll ask a few surface level questions. And they don't really understand their network yet. They haven't designed it. So that's the first thing. The second thing, if it's not a network effect, it probably needs to be some type of a consumer subscription model. In which case, I really like a lot of the growth accounting stuff that Jonathan Su wrote when he was at Social Capital. So he talked about the 8-ball and all this other stuff. But what he talks about is growth accounting is different from financial accounting. And if you have a subscription business, you want to add new subscribers. You want to keep the ones you have. You want to upsell the ones you have. You want to, when you lose them, you want to get them back. And you want to get new subscribers for not too much money. And you can start to create ratios between the subscriber ads that you're getting and the subscriber expansion that you're getting divided by the cost it takes for you to get those. And at certain thresholds, you have an awesome business. You should raise money and go all in. At certain thresholds, not so great. And so I'd say those two things I find very valuable. And then one other thing, and this relates a little bit to Steve Blank, but it's not something that he wrote about. There's a book that was written a couple decades ago now called Bowling Alone. And it talked about how people used to live in neighborhoods and know their next door neighbor and just know the people around them better. And, you know, the reason they call it bowling alone is that people like go bowling together. They play bridge together or whatever. But now people will live next door and their kids go to different private schools. One might be a Republican, one might be a Democrat, which means they never talk. And so one of Steve's theories is that every great consumer startup, it addresses something that people feel is missing in the book Bowling Alone. And I have found that to be remarkably robust. So people are looking for things in the world of the internet that they lost intrinsically that we used to have when we were closer to our neighbors, et cetera, et cetera.
That's fascinating. Yeah, that's a great concept. I appreciate it.